Josh, the last time you played Dartmouth, they ended your season back in March. So what's the message going into this game Friday night when Dartmouth comes here?
I mean, it's a big league game for us right now. I mean, we're a couple points ahead of them in the standings, but they got a game in hand, so this is a huge one for us. And for our quest to try to get into the top four, this is a big weekend.
What do you remember about those two games up at Hanover, and how disappointing was it to have that season end? Because there were a couple of close games.
Yeah, they were two great hockey games, and our games in the regular season were a lot of fun as well. We split that series, and it's they're a really well coached, structured hockey team. Their goaltender last year, I mean, he made some huge saves for him and was outstanding. And then they had some younger players that were really good for him.
But that goaltender's not back now, so is that a good advantage?
Yeah, I mean, I think they got two good ones now, and but yeah, I thought he was really good in that series last year. So glad he's not in the game.
You mentioned the standings. You look at it. You have Colgate in between you and these two teams who are also right there in the mix, as you mentioned, trying to get in that top four. So how big is this weekend to try to put some separation between you and them?
Yeah, I think for us, we got to keep banking points every weekend, and you can't leave anything on the table there. And right now, I mean, you have a good weekend, you can be in the top four. You have a bad weekend, you can be near the bottom four. So it's really important that we keep taking steps.
And Josh, if I could jump in, what's going to be the key to this weekend with both of these opponents to try and get these big points? I know you talk about all the points count in October, November in league games, but we're into January now, and it's really going to hit the stretch run quick.
Yeah, and I think we have really two different opponents. I mean, Dartmouth is you got to grind for everything you get. You got to take advantage of your opportunities because they don't give you much. Where Harvard is. They're the ones that's really opportunistic, and they have a ton of high end ability and can make plays. And I've seemed to kind of lock things up here of late. So it's going to be two different games, but I think we're going to have to play a complete 60 both nights to find a way.
Dartmouth has been not everybody expected them to be near the top of the standings. They started off well, but they stumbled a little bit late. What have you seen in their game that maybe gives you guys some hope that you can take advantage of the situation?
Well, I think they're real similar to us in the sense that they had a really fast start, and then kind of you kind of get humbled a little bit when you start thinking about the bigger picture and where you could be and what you could do. And I think they kind of found their game a little bit this past week, and they were really good against Brown and Yale. Obviously gave up a late one against Yale, but I thought kind of controlled the game, and then 5-2 win against Brown.
You mentioned that chase for that to be in the top four. Just how pivotal is it, or how important is it to you guys to earn those spots?
Well, for us, a big goal of this group is to get to Lake Placid, and I mean, you give yourselves that chance by not having to play that one and done game, and it's out there for us. We're trying to focus on just one game at a time, but I'd be lying if we're not talking about it.
I go back to talk about Lucas Massey a little bit. So you and I talked after the game Saturday. Getting a chance to watch the video, how do you think he did with his performance?
Yeah, I thought he did a really nice job. I think everybody would look at it and be like, that's probably an easy game to get into, but I think it's an extremely difficult one. When you get up 5-0 in first 10 minutes, I think the game in all intents and purposes is kind of over. I mean, it's everybody's got to play it out. You still got to finish the game out, but unless you have a complete meltdown, it's hard to have the same intensity to defend. And I thought you saw a little bit of that for us, where when we needed to, we buckled it down, but at times we made a couple mistakes and gave up really difficult scoring chances, and kind of hung him out to dry. So it's a hard game for a goalie, especially when it's 5-0 in the first 10.
How big was it for him to get in the game and maybe give him a little more confidence, knowing that if you need him again somewhere down the road, that he can do the job?
Well, you have meetings with guys and you tell them that you believe in them and that their time's going to come. And I think until you really show it to them, it's hard for them to hey, does he believe in me, or does he has he got doubt in the back of his mind? And we've never really wavered from Lucas, but at the same point really wanted him to earn it, and I was really happy he was able to do so. And now he knows that if we need him, he's ready.
Looking back, I mean, would you have liked to have gotten him in a non-conference game earlier in the season just to maybe get him a little work?
Yeah, I
As
think,
a starter, I mean,
yeah.
I know he had a game replaced Kyle one of those games.
Yeah, there was a couple games where like he had a little bit of like a tweak where he was kind of dinged up where we were hoping to maybe get him in and more so just wanted to make sure he was 100% healthy when he gave him the opportunity and I just thought Saturday night was kind of like I figured we'd have a pretty big bounce back with kind of the way Friday night ended and Lucas being ready was kind of the reason to go with that game.
Was there Kyle going back in the nets on Friday, or is that what we determined during the week?
Yeah, I mean, it kind of determined it throughout the week. I mean, Kyle's been Lucas's biggest fan and been real supportive of him when he got in.
You talked to Lucas. I know he's from California. I mean, have you talked about the fire situation out there?
Yeah, I just asked us, to see if everything was okay with his family, and he said everything was good.